All right, well, welcome. This is our first podcast. Welcome, everybody, to the Radcliiffe Green Team Green Room.
Big day.
Big day. My name is Eric, and I'm here with Andrew.
Hello.
Hey, Andrew. Welcome to the first podcast. And what we're going to try to do here is bring a little of this green initiative to the Radcliiffe world out there. So we're going to try to do some monthly podcasts, and we're going to kick it off with
a very special guest.
Extremely special.
Mr. Thomas Deluca.
Tom?
Big round of applause,
Hi,
everybody.
Hi, gentlemen.
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming, Tom. It's really nice. I appreciate it. You know, we're all busy here, and it's a snowy day in Cambridge. Maybe getting a little rain later, which is the celebration of Aqua Month, February.
February.
We're recording this. But Tom, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at the Radcliiffe Institute?
My name's Tom Deluca, and I've been at the university for about 20 years now. And I first started in the university in the main campus services department as a plumber, and worked my way up to a foremanship and took care of a whole crew of maintenance mechanics. The last 5 years, though, I've been at the Radcliiffe Institute working as a building systems manager. And some of the tasks that I do is taking care of the geo-well thermal system and heat pumps that are in Barley, Fay, and at the Knaufel Center as well.
Which is actually very interesting because as we talk about February being Aqua Month, what kind of came into play is the idea is that this underground water system right outside in our yard is, you know, people just don't know about it. So
it's very interesting.
Very interesting.
So most of the times when I'm walking in the yard and someone happens to notice or I talk about the geothermal system, they ask you a question like, you know, where are the wells? And you say, oh, they're in the yard. And you know, they're like, what do you mean they're in the yard? They don't understand. They're like, oh, it's 1,500 feet down below the earth.
How many are there?
1,500 feet.
Yeah, so through my experience of learning how the geothermal well systems, it's just try to picture maybe a 6-inch cylinder on the top of the earth and going all the way down 1,500 feet, which leaves you a big hole in the earth, which we put a pump in there and we pump that stored energy out from the earth into our buildings and gets into our heat pump systems that turn it into different energy for the heating and cooling season.
And let me just interject a little bit. When we talk about pumping that energy, we're using actually the heat energy that's in that water.
That is correct.
That water up. And I think a lot of the times that maybe gets a little confusing is when I tell somebody, in my own case, I've told people that we have wells out here, and a lot of people think that you're drinking the water that you're pulling up from the well. Well, no, it's not that type of a well. We're actually using the capability of the water to store heat.
That is correct. So the geothermal energy is the heat energy generated and stored in the earth just by the natural derivatives of the ground. Mm-hmm. As you're drilling down through the earth, you probably in this area get down about 200 feet, then you hit bedrock, and then you drill the rest of the way down inside to continue your well down 1,500 feet. But on the way down, as you're traveling down through the earth, you end up hitting culverts or fractures within the bedrock, which is basically, if you look it up, that terminology, it's an underground river that keeps on replenishing the well on a regular basis. As we're pulling the well out to use its energy through the earth to go to our heat pump system, which again produces the heating and cooling for the building, and then we reject it back to the well, and the process goes over and over again because there's an underground river that constantly feeds our wells.
Amazing.
Fascinating stuff.
Right outside in the yard here. And how many wells are out there?
We have 5 wells that feed into Barley Hall, which Barley Hall is our main plant, and it basically feeds the same geothermal water energy over to Fay House. And also we have the first 2 wells were installed back in 2005 for the Radcliiffe Gym, and now known as the Knaufel Center. We have 2 wells that feed that building as well.
Wow. So the buildings that are getting served are Byerly, Bay, and Knappel.
That is correct.
Interesting.
And to confirm, they do both heating and cooling, depending on which season you're in.
This is correct.
We're either taking that heat energy and putting it back into the earth if we're trying to cool, and we're taking that heat energy out of the earth if we're trying to heat.
That is correct, but it's all done through a refrigeration process as well too. So in the refrigeration process, as everybody would understand, refrigeration would be something that was cold, right? So there's always a byproduct of when you're trying to cool something, and that's heat. So in the wintertime, we reverse that role, and we reject the cool, and we keep the heated water. And then we pump that heated water into storage tanks, which picks up another set of pumps that pushes it out to the building, to all our terminal equipment. So it does the same thing in the opposite direction. When we're trying to use the cooling, we reject the heating. So we pull the energy out of the water for the cooling, and it goes through a refrigeration circuit, and that helps us get the water cool, and then we reject the heated water during the summertime, and the cold water during the wintertime.
Amazing. It's a sophisticated system, to say the least.
Yes, these systems were, designed to have a sustainable building, and we have goals set forth here at the university during construction, and all these wells will be put in during a major construction project happening at the Radcliiffe Institute. And during those projects, we get points to get LEED status on our building. So you can go all the way to a platinum status, but I think our two buildings are gold status, and by points, it's the fossil fuel emissions driven process that they find out how many points is worth, and having the geothermal system and the heat pumps involved was a great amount of points that you could get to be able to have it like a gold LEED status on your buildings.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Great. Tom, thank you for joining
I know
us.
it's busy out there.
My pleasure.
Our inaugural green podcast, so
My pleasure.
stay tuned for more.
Yeah, we'll talk to you next month, and thanks for listening.